Hey, Mop Man, you ever seen a real fight? Those words echoed across the gym like a slap, loud enough to make a few of the students stop mid-kick. Nobody had ever seen the janitor do anything but clean. But that night, the man who usually mopped the sweat off the mats would do something that made everyone watching rethink what they thought they knew about strength. And it all started with a single, arrogant challenge. On a humid Thursday night in Austin, Texas, the fluorescent lights inside Titan Martial Arts Academy buzzed quietly over the final advanced sparring session of the week. Logan Barrett, the lead instructor and third-degree black belt, stood on the mat, surrounded by 8 students. He was in his element, muscular, confident, and a bit too full of himself. That's when he noticed the janitor. "Hey, the guy with the mop. You ever seen a real fight?" Logan's voice rang out, half joking, half taunting. In the corner, Miles Carter, 43 years old, slowly looked up from scrubbing a stain on the floor. Dressed in his janitor's polo and old sneakers, he looked like someone who wouldn't know a jab from a jumping jack. "I'm just here to clean," Miles said quietly, wiping the sweat from his brow. "Didn't mean to interrupt." Logan laughed. "You're not interrupting, man. In fact, how about a quick demonstration? Let my students see what happens when someone who's never trained steps on the mat." Some students chuckled. Others shifted uncomfortably. Ellie Tran, a 21-year-old purple belt, furrowed her brow. She didn't like where this was going. Miles hesitated. Something stirred behind his eyes. Something old, buried deep. "I don't think that's necessary," he replied, dipping the mop back into the bucket. Logan grinned wider.
"Come on, man.
"You scared? What? Think I'm gonna break your broomstick arms?" That was when Ellie spoke up. "Sensei Logan, maybe we should just stick to the curriculum." Logan cut her off sharply. "Ellie, trust me. This'll be educational." The room grew still. The students stopped moving. Something about Miles began to change. He stood a little straighter. His mop was set down gently, like a soldier laying aside a weapon. "All right," Miles said calmly, stepping onto the mat. "But if I do this, you apologize to them for turning this dojo into a sideshow." Logan blinked. "Apologize? Buddy, you're gonna be the one apologizing to the floor." Nobody there knew that Miles Carter once went by a different name, the Quiet Reaper Carter, a 5-time world MMA champion. He had disappeared from the public eye after a tragedy that destroyed his will to ever step in a ring again. Not even his teenage son, Caleb, knew who he used to be. 20 years ago, Miles had been at the top of the fight world. But one mistake during a sparring session cost him everything. His best friend Leo Franklin died from an accidental head injury. Though cleared of wrongdoing, Miles carried the guilt like a weight tied to his soul. He made a vow, never fight again, never let his fists speak before his heart. So he walked away, changed his name, took janitor jobs in quiet towns, raised Caleb alone. But tonight, something inside him had been reawakened. Logan clapped his hands. "All right, folks, gather round. This is what happens when a civilian tries to play warrior." Ellie, still uncomfortable, whispered to her friend, "There's something weird about the way he moves." Indeed, as Miles stepped onto the mat, his posture wasn't just confident, it was precise, controlled, dangerous. He looked Logan dead in the eye. "You sure about this?" Logan didn't answer with words. He lunged. Logan threw a textbook jab.
Quick. Sharp.
But by the time it reached where Miles had stood, he was already gone. The students gasped. Logan spun, confused. He tried again, a combination this time. Jab, hook, knee. But every strike hit nothing but air. Miles flowed like water around each attack, calm as a lake before a thunderstorm. "No way," one of the students whispered. Logan growled. Stop dancing and fight. That's when Miles shifted into stance, just once. Shoulders level, weight balanced, breathing even. He hadn't even touched Logan yet, but the power dynamic had flipped entirely. You want to know the difference, Miles said softly, between someone who trained in a gym and someone who bled in the ring? Before Logan could answer, Miles stepped forward and gently tapped him in the chest with the palm of his hand. It looked harmless. Logan flew backward. Literally flew. Nearly 6 feet. He hit the mat with a thud that sucked all the air out of the room. Silence. Pure, stunned silence. Ellie was already Googling on her phone. A few keystrokes later, her eyes widened. Miles Carter, she whispered, scrolling through fight videos and archived interviews. He's not just a janitor. Everyone gathered around as Ellie read aloud. Miles, the Quiet Reaper Carter. 5-time world MMA champion. Retired undefeated. Known for speed, timing, and devastating control. Logan sat up, pale as a sheet. Five-time? Miles walked over and offered him a hand. I didn't do this to embarrass you. I did it to remind you. Humility is what makes a fighter. Logan took the hand. Titan martial arts was no longer the same. Logan stepped down as lead instructor, choosing to run a smaller gym in the suburbs.
His tone was softer now.
His pride replaced with quiet respect. Miles Carter, reluctantly at first, had accepted Ellie's invitation to become a philosophy and technical mentor at Titan. He never threw another punch in public. But what he taught reshaped the entire academy. One day, Ellie walked up to him after class and said, Sensei Miles, thank you. You didn't just teach us how to move. You taught us what strength really means. Miles smiled. Real strength, he said, is when you've got the power to destroy, but choose to build instead. If you're watching this and this story made you rethink what strength really is, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more stories that reveal the hidden legends among us.